Welcome to MTownTonight.com, the Memphis Late Night Talk Show, your source for entertainment and helpful information with your host, Mr. Darnay. MTownTonight.com.
Good evening to you once again. Welcome to another edition of mtowntonight.com at www.mtowntonight.com. I am your host, Mr. Darnay, chiming in with you as I do each and every Thursday night at 11 o'clock. I think we ran a couple of minutes behind getting started today, so we apologize from the bottom of our heart for coming a couple of minutes behind, but it's been a long day. Thursday before Friday, Friday Eve, you know what I mean? Sometimes they can be a little hectic, you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. We're going to sit back and relax and listen to another tight track, a laid-back, smooth groove by my cats over at Black Syndicate Entertainment. If you're looking for hot tracks, song development, concepts, hooks, jingles, production, feel free to go to the website, www.mtowntonight.com. Go to the Black Syndicate Entertainment spot of the website. Go to that page. The information is there for you to communicate with them. They'll be more than happy to talk with you about anything you're trying to do. It's all about making them move and making them groove. You know what I mean? So we're going to sit back for a minute and chill and relax and get things started here as we take up on the Thursday evening. And I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Thank you once again. If I didn't toast to those that made it through this hard day, once again, I say to you, congratulations and good evening to you. I've had a pretty good Thursday. It's been a productive Thursday for me as I try to make every day as productive as humanly possible. Mind, body, and spirit. You should try to do the same. Don't take things so seriously. The things that you need to take seriously, take it in stride. Don't take it in big chunks. Just kind of deal with it at a certain pace so that you can deal with it the best way that you can. Thursday, July 13th, 2017. Shouts out to those people that have been tuning in. Great responses through email. Thank you so much. Once again, the video that's pretty much leading the views at this point are the Judge Joe Brown interviews part 1 and 2. And a lot of people have said that, hey, they'd like to hear from him again. A lot of people thought that he was one particular way and realized that he's a down-to-earth guy. All you have to do is just like for most people is give him a chance. And we consider Brother Brown a friend of the show. And he has assured me that when our schedules can collide together again in harmony, if you will. I know collide and harmony together sounds crazy, but you know what I mean. If we can bring things together once again where he can spend more time so that we can get into that head of his from the legal side, as well as other things that he's seen that I, as well as other people, think that he has a pulse on. Real briefly speaking again about the previous election that he was a part of against Amy Weinrich here in the city, prosecutor here in the city, DA. And if you've been keeping up with the news, they're in hot water again. they're leading the state in convictions and all of the types of statistics, to go along with what he said when he was running, that that was some fishy stuff going on down there, and we really need to take care of the situation as best we can, whether it be through the vote or standing together and trying to make some type of move, political statement to get things straightened out down there, man, from the DA's office all the way to juvenile court. And let me tell you something, for the most part, your lower demographic income people are suffering from it. In most cases, that's where your judicial system gets its monies from, is from the lower demographics of income. Your people that can afford the attorneys and different things, they don't continuously go to court like this on those small situations. Bigger cases, civil court and stuff, different monster to deal with. But when you're dealing with criminal court, general sessions court, stuff like that, that stuff can be, I mean, felonies, and dealing with lawyers and how these lawyers are and these fees that they're charging. And as I was told in my question dealing with the law, that the best client in the world for an attorney is a man that's scared to go to jail. That's a pretty strong statement. So let's try to get him back on the show where we can get some more information, and maybe there's something that he can do, or that he can tell us we can get together and do, and try to get some things going, or go along with some things that are right now here or there behind the scenes, from what I'm hearing, in play on trying to get these things constantly investigated so we can find out more information. Who knows what can happen from it? Hopefully it's something positive, and I think it will be if we stay on top of it. So kudos to the advocacy group that's investigating this and being a part of this to get to the bottom of it. And for those that the Harvard, I think it was a Harvard study group that did the assessment. Thank you once again for showing us what we pretty much have been knowing for a while, but haven't been really wanting to deal with from what's been shown in the media. So let's hopefully we can resolve that. Tonight's topic is something that is going to be, or has been at one time, important to everybody, and that's buying a car. And there are so many different views on buying a car, so many different theories of different things, because everybody has bought a car at one point in time, whether it be an older model car from a private owner, to a used car lot, to the big car lot, the big dealerships. So in somewhere along the line, we all have dealt with one of those elements before, and a lot of times we get screwed in buying a car because we are dealing with an emotion, that there's a need there for buying a car. In most cases, in most people's lives, the need arises for another car. And we allow that need sometimes to put us in contracts and situations, financial situations, that really are detrimental to us in the long run. Later on, this month, or excuse me, next month, we'll be talking about landlord leasing and tenant leasing, pertaining to what's a good lease, what's not a good lease, what lease should you sign, what lease you shouldn't sign, what your rights are pertaining to your lease, how to be able to look at your lease and know truthfully, are you getting what's in your lease? Are you paying for? Are you getting what you pay for? That's one thing, along with car buying, that hurts a lot of us. It's not reading the fine print, and in reading the fine print, if we don't understand it, not getting some understanding about it. So when it comes down to dealing with cars, let's start with the used car lots. And most of us, let's say, if we have not gotten a private car or a car that mom and dad gave us, we probably had to save up money to buy our own car. Maybe some of us started out at the used car lot. And we all know that the used car lot is what it is. It's a used car lot. So in going in, you know that these cars are not new. There is a possibility of some prior issues that may have been taken care of in full or in part by the current seller of the car. So that's a not natural risk that you have to assume and have to really, really keep in mind when you're buying a used car, period, no matter what they say, the person that's selling it to you, it's a used car. They may have done some fixing to it. They may have straightened out some things. They may have actually fixed some things that were wrong with it. And there still is a possibility, despite what they say. Even though full disclosure is in effect, they're supposed to tell you anything and everything about the car. Hey, sometimes it doesn't work that way. And that's where you have to be on top of your game by understanding on the front end that despite them having the 22-point inspection and all of those other little catchphrases that they use in these car lots to sell cars about their inspections and what their cars are going through, what they put them through, all of that's fine and well. Still, it's a used car. And there is some responsibility that you're going to bear with that. Okay. It may be something that takes place with the vehicle that was outside of something that was wrong that they fixed. It may have been nothing wrong with that part, particular part or situation had never arisen where you had an issue with that area of the car. And it may have been just basic wear and tear that caught up with you, that you unfortunately had to suffer through the life of the car. Well, they couldn't tell you that because they didn't know that because it didn't happen, meaning the seller. So these are things that you have to keep in mind. And also going to buy a used car. They love to throw the credit up at you. Everybody has approved credit. Well, let me tell you something. As long as you've got money to put down, you've got approved credit. That's just wordplay, true to life wordplay with approved credit. Well, we know that. Everybody's approved. We know that because you want me to put money down on the car. And if I put the amount of money down on the car that you want, you damn right I'm approved. So there's no favors being done here. Okay, that's just wordplay. Once again, for you young people out there that are getting ready to buy your first car, whether it be used car lot or brand new car lot, everybody's always approved when you're putting money down, especially the amount that they want you to put down. You damn right they'll find someone to buy your loan, to accept your stipulations, or the stipulations that they lay out for you that they want you to go along with. When it comes down to dealing with a down payment on a car, used car lots usually are trying to get 100% value. Now, some will deny, of course, but most of them are trying to get full recoup on the value of that car on the down payment. So in other words, if you're going to buy a car and the car is $1,500 down, that's what they're asking. With all probability, that car is what they paid at the auction, if not a few bucks less. Once they get that money's back off of that vehicle, any monies made off of that vehicle from here on out is pure profit. At a used car lot. Pure profit. Pure profit. So once you've made your initial down payment, you've bought the car, pertaining to them as far as them getting their money back, what they invested in it at the auction in most cases. Most car lots are not going to the more they put into a car, you can best believe the more the down payment. And if you come up on a smooth used car salesman, he will jiggle and juggle the numbers and throw them around and tell you things as well. I'm asking $8,000 for that car, but I tell you what, I'll knock it down to $5,000, $6,000. Well, use common sense and think about that. If he's willing to come down $2,000 or $3,000, probably wasn't worth that in the first place. What's going to make him just give up $3,000 in value to the car, unless he's going to get it from you on another end, whether it be through the years of financing, the interest rate on those years of financing, or the down payment, or hell, all three of them. You got a high car note, you paid a high down payment, you got a high car note, and you got it financed for a long period of time, 7, 8 years in some cases. That's unheard of when I was buying cars as a youngster in 30s and so forth coming up. You didn't finance cars that long. I think they're refinancing cars now also. They didn't do that back in the day either. We wouldn't have gone for that. We wouldn't have dealt with that. But they do it now because people they know that people have circumstances and situations, and it's going to be beneficial to them. It'll be beneficial to you in the short term because maybe you don't have to pay a note at that particular time, or they'll put it on the back end of the loan, whatever it may be, to temporarily accommodate you. But you best believe they're going to get it somewhere. So when you're dealing with the down payment, they tell you it affects your the loan amount that's being financed. Well, true, per se. If you're financing a $7,500 car and you put down 1,500, they're supposedly theoretically financing only 6,000. Okay, let's go along with that and say, okay, the $1,500 is really all it's going to affect is maybe $20 or so of your down payment. Maybe 50, I don't think so, but maybe between 20 and 50. That money is best served in your pocket. That money is only gotten from you if it is not the full value of the car, and it's a pretty decent car, and they can't go too high on the down payment. Even though I've seen some cars that cost $8,000 for sale with a down payment of $3,500, $4,000. Some people are out there to pay that, but they pay that sometimes depending on situations and circumstances, and I'll get to that shortly. The down payment is basically the car dealership's way of getting you involved on the front end of the contract, of the deal. In other words, if we can get this person to pay this down payment, a substantial down payment, we may be able to go ahead and recoup the max amount that we paid for the vehicle that we initially invested to get it. And we've got them in a position now where they feel even more financially obligated to pay for it. Business, but is it necessary? It shouldn't be necessary to put a down payment on a car of that magnitude anyway. A real down payment on a car should be no more than maybe $500. Considering that the down payment is true, unless you are paying half down for a car, half of what the car costs, I don't see the value. It's only a way to get you involved in the contract on the front end with your signature. You put $1,500 down, $2,000 down, you feel obligated, for the most part, to pay that note, to take care of that bill. True enough, it's your car and it's your car note, yes. But there's something of value there when you put your money on it. And used car lots, for the most part, they get back the majority, if not all, of what they invested on the front end. There's no way in the world that I would go and buy a used car. 2017, 2009, 2010, 7-year-old vehicle. Let's say if it's got 80,000, 90,000 miles, it's a 7-year vehicle. That's not too bad. 11,000 miles a year, 12,000 miles a year, not too bad. Not a lot of driving. I'm looking at a 2010. It's got 260,000 miles on it. You want $6,000 for it, whatever it may be, and you want $2,500 down? You've got to be kidding me. These are the type of prices that they have out there. All of these different slick wordplay concepts that they use about coming in $500 down. All of that's just to get you at the car lot and hold you there for an hour while they run your credit through 15 billion high risk lending companies that are willing to say, hey, we'll give him a shot. But he's got to do this. He's got to be willing to pay this interest. He's got to be willing to pay this down payment and put some blood in this vial and send it to us. That's what it feels like. So when it comes to down payment, if it's not a down payment that's comfortable for your budget, and bear in mind, they want to sell you a car. You need a car, true enough. But they want to sell you a car. That's how I've always felt. Sell a car. Don't try to make a deal, because deals don't always go best for both parties. Sell a car. And if you sell a car, in most cases, it's going to go in the favor of the car buyer. That's your job as the car seller, is to make me happy, right, with a car, make it affordable for me, comfortable for me and my family to afford and be proud of it. I'm not saying for those people that are trying to live above their means. I'm speaking of those people that are trying to buy a car, van, truck that is comfortable for their family. You, as a car salesman, as a dealership, should make it affordable for any family. You shouldn't be trying to get the maximum you can up front to get them involved financially on the front end to have a sense of obligation. If they came to you, one would have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to be obligated. They're coming to you to buy a car. Situations happen, circumstances happen. You've got legal precedents over any situation where people don't pay. So you're not in a losing situation here. Make cars affordable. Sell a car. Don't make a deal. Sell a car. You've seen the concept of let's make a deal on TV years ago. You either pick this curtain or you want this curtain. You're gonna lose somewhere. That's not what we want. We want to have a win-win situation. We're winning because we're able to buy the car that you made available for us with the stipulations that we can go with, and you get the satisfaction of having a happy customer and selling a car. Sounds like a win-win situation. So when you go in and they ask you for these high dollar down payments, turn around and walk the hell out of there. You're best served with keeping your money in your pocket, in your bank account. Don't fall victim to your emotions about you need a car and inflate your situation to the degree to where it makes you make a bad financial decision in buying a car from some people who probably you may not even should even be buying from in the first place. Think about that. Used car lots, they make their money on their down payments. The rest of it is gravy. It's gravy. It's gravy. They have very little understanding for personal situations and circumstances. They have more invested in the car than the major dealerships do in their cars. Be careful with the down payment game. Don't let them get you. When you go in and talk to these used car salesmen, and this applies to the major dealerships, before you get there, you should already have it basically laid out what you're willing to pay, how much you're willing to finance, or how far you're willing to finance a car for. These are things you should do yourself to prepare yourself for going to do business. You know what you can do. You know what you want to do. You know what you're not willing to do. Have this in your head. Have it written down. Write it down so that you can see it and visualize it, and then have those stipulations in your head so when you go buy the car, you dictate what's going on, not the salesperson. The salesperson will dictate you right into a vehicle that you don't even need, that you don't even want, but he'll give it to you with no money down. He'll accommodate you in that respect. Car lots will do it all the time. They'll put you in something with no money down, quick as hell, and it's nothing that you even wanted because they want to sell a car. They want to make a deal. They don't want to sell a car or truck or whatever. When you're selling a car or truck, the theory and the concept behind that is making the person that you're selling something to happy. I've been in the sales game for over 20 years off and on. Multi-level marketing, direct marketing, it's all the same. When you're selling something, the purpose of the sale, of course, is to make a profit. But you can't make a profit until you make that customer happy, which in turn should make you happy. But if you're trying to make a deal, which means you're trying to make some money initially, that's where it gets messed up. So when you go to these used car lots and getting to the new dealerships, the big dealerships, when you go there and you meet the salesperson and you talk with them and they get the little spiel on you, you spill your guts to them the first 20, 30 minutes while you're there, and they talk to you and butter you up about all of what they can do, how they can get it done, and so forth. And they get your information. And once they get your information and they look at your situation, and let's say it's your credit could be more desirable, if you want to look at it that way. Well, that's their opportunity. Now they'll come to you initially when you're on the phone with them. They were telling you, hey, 500 to get you in this, 500 to get you in that, this and that, whatever. All you do is come down and talk to me, ask for so and so. You get there to talk to so and so. You talk to them, do your documents, do your fill out the application. He runs your credit. Next thing you know, it goes from 500 to 25. That fast. How does it benefit you by giving them $2,500? Other than putting your skin in the game. As far as they look at it, if he's willing or they're willing to put in $2,500 on this vehicle, we'll be more inclined to do it. Why aren't you inclined to do it anyway? You're trying to sell a car, aren't you? You pay them the $2,500, and depending on how it's set up, maybe you need to come back. You're going to have to come back and pay your tags and title and all of that stuff within 30 to 45 days. Then, boom, here comes another payment. If you pay that type of down payment and you depending on your car note, hey, you could be out of $35,000 to $4,000 within 90 days, because of a car. And it's not necessary. Walk out. Let them know what you can and cannot do. That should save you time. They don't mind you being out on the car lot all day long in the office while they're running your credit to 30,000 different companies trying to see who will bite. No, let's get it done on the front end the first few times if we can. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm able to do. This is my income. Based on my last collection and last checking, if you can do that, my credit score was here. They're still going to pull your credit anyway, but this is information that you have. This is what I make. These are my check stubs. This is the area of monthly payment that I want to stay in. Not a penny more, maybe less if possible, for certain. I don't want to finance any more than this amount of years, or as close to this as I can. These are the type of steps that you can give to a car salesman. If they can't meet those steps, then walk away and suffer just a little longer until a better situation comes along. Your money is best served in your pocket, if it has to be. Sometimes we run into situations where we have to spend and buy due to necessity. Circumstances happen where we just gotta have a car. Hey, we've been there. I've been there. I understand. When that extreme dire situation comes up, you do what you have to do. But in most cases, it usually doesn't work that way. We don't have that pressure. We usually have the luxury of taking our time, respectfully, to look and browse and go here and go there and network and talk to people that know car dealership people and so forth. Most of the time we have that luxury. For a minute, you have the right to not have to pay a down payment. Why should you have to pay a down payment? Here's the thing. The way it is if your credit is of a certain height, if your credit score is at a certain level, well, of course, we can accommodate you. We'll take the chance. We hear that. But for everybody that's trying to be helpful about my credit, as they say, we don't care about your credit. Your credit means nothing. If my credit means nothing, then let me have the same steps that you let the person that has good credit have. Let me walk away with no down payment. Let me walk away with a good interest rate. Let me walk away with a shorter term for financing. If my credit doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, then why are you coming to me with these high down payments? If it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, then you don't have to tell everybody that your credit is approved. It matters. And it is used to dictate down payments. It is used to dictate prices on vehicles. Overpricing as far as they can go. That's the game. Talk to car dealerships, talk to salesmen. We know them all. Some will deny. Some will agree. That's the nature of it. So if I got any emails from car salesmen, and I'm sure I will, respectfully, I accept them all. I know what you're going to say. Hey, there are programs out there that can really, really help people. Hey, man, if you had one program helps people. Let people come in, pick the car that they want, give them a price that they can afford, and the payment that they can afford monthly. That's all you need to do. There shouldn't be 15 programs. It should be as simple as going in and making it happen that way. For those people with extreme credit, excuse me, hey, something has to be done, but nothing to the degree of $1,500. If you want to say, okay, well, let's have a $500 earnest payment, go ahead and put it on there. $500 earnest payment. Considering that your credit is just undesirable or is not as what we would like it to be, this is what we require. Go ahead and pay your first month car note up front. At least we'll know where the money's going. At least we'll have some credit for it, not just whisked off into the numbers like your down payment truly is or your trade truly is. That car that they want to give you $500 for, hey, if it truly isn't worth anything to you, by all means, give it to them. Other than that, if you've got a youngster coming up, daughter, son, whatever, that nephew, niece, hey, keep that vehicle. That's the old-fashioned way. Keep that vehicle and they'll have something to drive. Give them some incentive instead of just throwing it into the mix of a new car deal just to get rid of it, and they give you $500 for it, $600 for it, when in actuality, they could have given you that anyway. Those rebate deals that they come out with, these different companies, car dealerships, during holidays and certain parts of the year, where they come out with the $1,500 cash back and rebates. When you go into the car dealership, ask for those type of deals. What deals do you have going on? Or what specials that you have going on? Uh, Such as any rebates or anything like that going on with any cars or whatever you're looking for. And if they don't have that, it's okay. Well, fine. I like to talk with a salesman about looking at a so-and-so. And you take a look at it, and you take that salesman in his office, her office, and when you take them in there, politely ask for the opportunity to explain to them what you want, what you're willing to do, what you can afford, the documents that are here um, um, to confirm what you can afford. In this situation, this meeting can be very short here. I don't have to be here for 2 hours because car dealerships will do it to you. We don't have to be here long. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I can do. You don't have to be a scholar, a college graduate, or anything of this nature to articulate that to your car salesman. This is what I can do. Make that happen for me. Sell a car. Well, what type of down payment? I have no down payment. I shouldn't need a down payment. If you want to help my credit, if you want to help me, help me. Help me. Allow me to come in, take my word as a customer that I'm going to buy your vehicle and I'm going to pay my bill. Quite frankly, the down payment doesn't have a damn thing to do with whether or not I'm going to pay the bill 6 months from now. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. But that's the psychology that they play. They want you to be involved on the front end as much as you can, because bear in mind, you're driving off with an automobile. So they want some form of comfort. Business, understand that. I understand that. However, what's the bigger picture? The bigger picture is the customer being satisfied. That means selling the car that accommodates them where they can walk away, drive away, proud that they did business with you. This is for your used car lots and your major dealerships. And I don't care which one you go to. If you don't have any steps laid out of what you can and cannot do, they will stick you up with anything. They will sell you whatever that you will accept. They will do it. They will make a deal with you and for you. They will find a buyer for your contract, someone to accept the steps that have been given to them to say, hey, we'll take this deal. How much is she putting down or he putting down? Well, they've got 600. No, 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 no. This is a 2002. Tell them that we want it's priced at 8,000. Tell them we want 30 because of their credit score of 480 or 520. We want 2,500 down. We want 2,800 down on an $8,000 car. That's 10 plus years old in a lot of cases. That if you took the title to a title loan place, you couldn't even get the amount that you put down on it in a lot of cases. Let's not get caught up in these type of traps, because now what's happening is that things have been extended. Statute of limitations on crimes and different things have been extended. Companies have more leeway and opportunity to go at you and deal with you with extended pay times of financing and different things to accommodate those that have high risk credit. For those people that are having these issues, they take advantage of you. They play on your emotions. And you don't have to let people do that. If you need a car, if you truly need a car, and you have to deal with some of these unfortunate things that car dealerships, new and used, will take you through, God bless you. I'm sure it would be a dire need. But understand, you don't have to have a high interest rate, a high car note, an older model car. I mean, where do you win as the customer? You've got bad credit. They say you've got bad credit. They want you to have a high note, high interest rate, late model vehicle, high mileage, long-term financing. Where do you win as the customer? You don't win. Because bear in mind, when you made that down payment, you paid for the vehicle as far as they're concerned. It's all about the gravy now. It's all about making sure that you come in each month. And hopefully that seed that they planted about your down payment in your head to make you think, well, I put 10, 2,500 down on this damn car. I got to keep paying this note. That's the way they want you to think. So that you don't think about possibly getting a better situation in someone selling you a car, asking for the type of contract, basically what it is, that you're willing to sign for. Why shouldn't you have the right to ask for that type of contract? You do have the right. We just don't do it for the most part because we feel that these people are experts and we trust their judgment. I'm not saying to never trust their judgment. I'm just saying as a consumer, have your ducks in a row of what's affordable for you, what's a great deal in selling a car to you. You coming out on the win-win situation. That's the only way to look at it. That's the only way to do it. And in dealing with property as well, you have to do the same. But cars are something for the most part that people buy before they buy property. And the principles are the same. You're buying an older piece of property. If it's got a high price on it, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. You have to find out that reason. In dealing with a car and used car lots and brand new car lots, the reason for the down payment is to get you involved into the process immediately. By you having a stake, you just drove off with our vehicle. We need something. I'm saying to you as a car buyer that have bought plenty of cars, new and used, you can go with your stipulations. And I'll give you an example. There was a car lot here in the city of Memphis at one time when I was looking for buying another vehicle. Major car dealer here in the city. AutoNation. I think it was AutoNation Mount Moriah. I don't give a damn about saying the name. I think it's AutoNation on Mount Moriah. But at any rate, they had a particular on their website where you could actually formulate your own contract for the vehicle that you wanted. You would go to the website, pick the vehicle you wanted. You could pick your interest rate, pick the amount of years, pick the down payment. You could do all of this on this website, on their website, and create your own contract. Print it out, and per my understanding of what I was told, if I printed that out and took it to them, I would be able to buy a car. They could sell me a car. How happy was I? So that's what I did. I printed out a deal where, this is the funny part, I printed out a deal where I bought a late model vehicle and charged a hell of a percentage of interest rate on myself, because at that particular time I had some credit issues that I was concerned about. So I put that in consideration. I said, well, I'll charge myself this amount of interest, which is above and beyond the norm. I'll charge this, and I'll actually finance it for this amount of time with no money down, and my payment was falling right in line with what I wanted. Perfect, perfect, perfect deal for me. I called them on the phone. Yes, sir. Bring Mr. Darnay, bring that right up to the AutoNation dealership, and we'll go ahead and get you going. I get up here, bring this document, relay what was told to me just as no later than 20 minutes on the phone. Nobody remembered talking to me. They remembered, or the contract that I had printed out, they are fully aware of that. But that's only a guide. I think he told me that's only a guide that is used to really assess your situation. You really can't. That really wasn't a deal. That really wasn't a contract that could have been honored. And I found that so strange because I had given myself a high interest rate, long-term financing over above and beyond the norm, and I had a car note within my range and no money down. They've sold a car. I'm happy with my interest rate because I willingly picked it. It was high, probably about what they would have given me anyway. But there was no money down. I'm winning. They're winning because they're selling a car. They're making me happy because not only did they sell me a car, they sold me a car with the stipulations that they allowed me to create. Now, I'm not saying they're going to let you do that every time, but at least don't comply to some that don't fit you. Don't let them bully you into signing or getting in deals that don't benefit you. If you need a car that bad and you are pressed where you have to do that, well, then we all do what we have to do. But if you don't have to do it, don't do it. Save your money. Wait until another opportunity comes along. Do your research as best you can. Hopefully you're not dealing with a hardship to the degree of you're really, really struggling getting where you're going. If you're going through that, by all means, do what you have to do. We have to do that sometimes. But if you've got the luxury and convenience of taking your time and looking around to find the deal that will allow you to be sold a car, not them making a deal with you, you going to the table and saying, hey, this is what I can do. This is what I'm looking for. Can you make this happen? If you can't make that happen, Mr. or Mrs. Salesman, thank you, but no thank you. It's just that cut and dry. All of that other fervor and talk, it means, hey, at the end of the day, this is what I can do. This is what I can't do. Pull my credit and tell me, can you do it? If you can, fine, let's get it going. If you can't do it, I can leave here and go about my way. That's to your new dealerships and your used car dealerships. Stay away from the down payment hustle. Don't do it. Don't get caught up in that. We try to buy our young kids growing up, pardon me, our teenagers, new cars or cars, and we'll suffer some financial setback, if you will, to accommodate them in their growth and development of their first car or what have you. Even in that regard, teach them, hey, my intent was to buy you a car. I'm not planning on buying you a car because of your age and you're growing up. But this is how we're going to handle that. Or if you go somewhere and you have the credit to buy them a car and you're, if you're co-signing for them as young people, well, then you let them know. Well, okay, I tell you what, I'm buying this car for my young son or daughter. I want him to have the understanding and the responsibility of paying a note. I'm just here as a cushion. With that being said, no money down. You've got two people on this contract. Why do you need any money down? Other than to get me financially obligated on the front end before I even drive it. It's game, y'all. Have the fortitude to understand you can do this. You can talk to them this way. Not in an unprofessional manner. I'm not speaking in an unprofessional manner now. I'm speaking about what I know and what I know how it can help me and benefit me. And that's how you deal with your salesperson. It's not about being belligerent. It's not about being sarcastic or sassy. It's just that you know what you're looking for. And you know how to articulate that. And if they can't make what you need to make happen, as best they can for you. Where you're winning outside of just buying a car, you've got a great card note or a car note as close to what you can afford or want as possible. The amount of time that financing you've got it as close to what you like as possible. That's what these type of negotiations are about. And you have to be prepared with the ammo of what you want and what you can do and cannot do to go into these type of negotiations and negotiate successfully. It's not always cut and dry all the time. It's not always cut and dry. Sometimes some things can be done. Some things can be talked about, worked out in doing a contract. Some people look at that as a dirty word. I think that word is very important because contract sounds important. Contract. So that you can understand what you're getting a part of, what you're being a part of. A contract. You are going to be responsible for this car. And if I'm going to be responsible for this car for the next 5 to 7 years, however they finance it, the least I can have on the front end is that I don't have to pay a hard down payment for it. I've just signed on for 5 to 7 years. My goodness. So the more that you think about it and you put real logic to it, the down payment, and once again, it's always been told to us how important it is in affecting your monthly note. That's bullshit, excuse my expression. Some people probably can show you some figures where it drops your car note down $100 to $200. Stop it. Just stop it. No. It is designed to get you financially involved on the very front end. If you committed verbally, think about this. Well, you're ready to buy a car, and the next thing you know, well, it's going to cost you $20. We're going to get this one for $2,500 down. Instantaneously, you have committed $2,500 verbally. Now they've got something to work with. True enough, they're going to get the damn deal done when they call the finance company or when they text back or email or whatever. The finance company's going to be like, whoa, you got that? Well, great. And they'll do something jazzy like since the price has been dropped, considering of what you're financing against what you paid down, they may finance you another 2 years as opposed to 5 years. They may do 7 now to make up the fact that you didn't put down any money. If you didn't put down any money, or if you put down a certain amount, they may finance you a little bit further for the simple fact of financing a small amount, putting an extra 2 or 3 years on it, makes them an extra few $100s or whatever the case may be. I remember in the olden days when I was working in the finance business, the insurance that went on contracts in case you lost your job or whatever, that insurance was optional. I don't think it's optional anymore. So that money is already included. They're making money anyway. So why do you need my money on the front end? You've got my signature and you've got my commitment for the next 5 to 7 years. I need to commit more than that because of my credit. Well, I've showed you my income. Let's say you pulled my credit and everything on my credit is 10 years or plus old, paid out or charged off, meaning I owe it, but I don't owe it. It's not affecting my income. My debt to income ratio is in line. And I still can't get a no down payment car. Thank you, but no thank you. Thank you, but no thank you. Don't let these people get you caught up. Don't allow that. Because what will happen is it'll put you in a position to where you're having situations and circumstances to now you've got to recoup that money. And I don't care how you got it. I don't care if you had it saved up for 5 or 10 years. Still, the fact remains you don't have to pay it down. They will coerce you into paying it down if you will allow them. How bad do they want to sell a car? How bad do they really want to sell that car? Are they willing to sell that car to getting as close to the stipulations that you as the consumer want? If they are not diligently, if the salesperson, new car lot or used car lot, because used car lots now are using big companies just like your major car dealerships. They're using Ford Motor Credit and other creditors to finance their vehicles. Ford Motor Credit and all of those companies say, hey, why not deal with these? Why not get that money? Hell, they'll pay a higher interest rate at the smaller car lots than they will at our bigger ones. And we're giving them late model cars with high mileage. It's a money pit for them. I mean, it's a money tree. So they'd be more than happy to finance it. And if you're willing to put down what was initially invested into the vehicle, oh, Nelly. It's not necessary to make these type of down payments on cars coming from a used car lot, new car lot. If you're dealing with these smaller car lots, these used car lots, walk away. A lot of them still have cars on their lot because of the high down payments that they have. It's an insult. Some of the down payments, literally an insult. Think about the logic. If these cars that they're asking for $1,500, $2,500, $3,000 down were in a reachable range of people's income in their area, for the most part, or the demographic they're going after, anywhere between $500 to $600 down, they would sell more cars in a little bit. If this person was not going to pay you in the long run, their down payment didn't have a damn thing to do with it. So you can't dictate who's going to pay you and who's not going to pay you based on their down payment. That would be very, very, very strange to see someone be able to do that, to predict that. So in saying that, if you made this more affordable, you'd get the numbers that you wanted. Some people would say, well, I don't want that certain clientele. Well, that's what you're going after anyway with the high notes. I mean, with the high down payments. Because people that have good credit or excellent credit definitely are not going to go to a second-rate car lot when they can go to a brand new car lot if they've got good credit. They're not going to deal with that shit either. So why should you deal with it? No disrespect to those brothers and sisters out there that own used car lots. I'm not down talking you. I'm just telling the truth. I'm just being straight up. Not to downplay you or say that you're a bunch of criminals. No. But the way that you do business, a lot of you, a little questionable. It's questionable. And we shouldn't get caught up in dealing with it because the majority of the people that are buying from you smaller car lots are us, African Americans, from what I've seen. Correct me if I'm wrong, I stand corrected. But from what I've seen through my life in travels, is that usually the used car lots are filled with us buying used cars because they're quote unquote affordable and approved credit. If a car is $10,000 and I go in and put $5,000 down, who in the hell are they going to need to talk to approve that? Nobody. So my credit is approval at any time. It's just depending on the amount of down payment that you want to determine my credit worthiness. I say to you, Don't go in with that mindset. Go in with stipulations of what you're willing to do and not do, and let it roll that way. See what happens that way. See what happens when you ask for stipulations that are going to best suit your family and your budget. Test their gangster and see if they're willing to sell a car to a family or a person in need, or a desire or want, as we all do sometimes, of wanting brand new cars. We feel we deserve them after a certain amount of years. But we're not going to be allowed, it's not going to be allowed to have car lots take advantage of you with all of the fluff and all of the stuff that they talk about with used cars and new cars. There's point scale system of checks and balances. At the end of the day, it all starts on the front end. When you walk in, have in mind what you want. Not just the car, but the stipulations that you're willing to accept and sign and be responsible for on that car. And have it in your head to understand that your down payment is really not necessary. It's just a way for the car lot to get you financially involved and obligated on the front end. On the front end. The first commitment you make, even before you sign it, is what you're willing to put down. That's how important it is. And that information is used to try to make a deal with the finance company to buy the stipulations that the car salesmen pretty much have come up with, unless you guide them, which is what I'm telling you to do. So think about this. In the long run, it will benefit you. Don't go into a car lot new or used at their whim, telling them you're just looking to buy a car. Be a person that has the straightforwardness to know what they want and can articulate to that salesman what they want for certain. It's been a great thing to talk to you all each and every Thursday night, and on Talking Tuesday nights as well. I am Mr. Darnay, your host, as I will always be, and say to you that as I sit here before you, I thank you and appreciate you all for your emails, your kind, warm thoughts, and I enjoy doing it each and every time, and I will continue to do it as long as I'm blessed to do it from above, you know what I mean, from the heart. So I'd like to say thank you for taking the time out once again to view me, and if you have any questions or concerns, or, hey, complaints if you want to call them that, we respond to them all in kind. www.mtowntonight.com is the website. mtowntonight@gmail.com is the email, or Gmail if you will. Feel free to communicate with me. We've got a lot of things coming up on our roster of different prize giveaways and different things that we're doing and we're working on, and we're going to be bringing them to you. I guarantee you we're going to have some fun and keep trying to learn new things to make our lives better as human beings and as fellow brothers and sisters to each other, because that's what it's all about. And no matter how big the hole may be, there's only one way to get out of it, and that's working together. Mr. Darnay coming to you live, www.mtowntonight.com. Thank you.